Hello everybody, it's me RJ here again with another video for you guys. What you're looking at right here is part of the vibratory tumbler from Central Machinery. This is the vibratory tumbler that you can buy from Harbor Freight. The bolt right here wore out, so this video is going to be on how to replace this bolt. So first thing you're going to need is a 10mm wrench, open end wrench or closed end. You're going to need a 7mm ratchet and Phillips head screwdriver and a pair of needle nose. Those will be the tools that we'll start out with. Alright, I already have the bowl removed, so I'm going to go ahead and take this rubber plate or rubber bushing, whatever you want to call it, out and put it out of the way. First thing that I'm going to do is take these bolts out. There's 4 bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I'm going to use the ratchet on. I'm going to tip this up so you guys can get a better look right here. They're connected to these pieces of angle brackets right here, and they hold this top piece down. So we're going to take those off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let me put this back up right, and that's what we're going to remove first. Okay, now that I have all 4 of those little bolts removed, I'm going to pop these out so that I don't lose them. So go ahead and pop all 4 of those out. Make sure you set them somewhere you don't lose them. Next, we're going to do these 4 Phillips head screws that are out here on the outer perimeter. These are a pain because these springs are in the way and it's very difficult to get a tool up in here to stop these nuts from spinning and spinning. So that's where the needle nose comes in handy. You're going to reach in here like this and grab the nut with the needle nose and squeeze. I got a really long pair of needle nose. They come in handy. You can get a shorter pair and do it too, but these long ones come in handy. Then I'm going to loosen the screw from the top of the Phillips head screwdriver, and the nut is going to fall into the spring and it's not going to go anywhere, so don't worry about that. So let's see if I can show you on this first one how to do it. So reach in here, grab that nut with the needle nose, squeeze down, and then loosen this all the way until you can remove this screw. Take that screw and set it somewhere you won't lose it. The nut is going to sit right here. Sometimes they'll stick to this rubber. Sometimes they'll fall down in here. Don't worry about it. Let it fall down in here. Now, I've done this 2 or 3 times because I use this a lot. And there's really no easy way to do this. If you guys come up with a better way, please let me know. But I'm showing you how I do it. So let's go ahead and get the rest of them off here real quick. The next step is to remove these 4 screws here. If you can see them right there, they're pretty small. Go ahead and remove those with the Phillips head screwdriver. You don't need any wrench or pliers or anything to hold underneath. Just unscrew these until you can take them out. Okay, now that we've made it this far, we can pull this whole piece off here, and we can set this aside and reassemble it later, which it's even worse to reassemble than it is to take apart. So here we go. We got this, and this is what we're trying to get out and replace. Go ahead and flip it over. Underneath, you're going to need a 10mm socket. We're going to hold it down in there, and we're going to take this bolt off. Okay, get your 10mm socket and your 10mm wrench. Take this part here, and you're going to put the socket on this side, the wrench on this side, and you're going to get this off the best you can. Sometimes you'll have to unscrew it all the way this way. Sometimes you'll get fortunate and that lock nut will slip off this way, but that's not the case most of the time. So let's work this off. Once you get it loose enough where you can get a good gap in here, go ahead and get a pair of bolt cutters or a saw or something and cut this off just to save yourself some trouble, because this is rusted and corroded and it's going to take a long time to work this nut off. So we'll get the fancy bolt cutters out here and we're going to pop this off. All right, now that we have this off, we can go to the next step. So I bought one of these bolts here, really long ones from Lowe's, to replace the old one. And unfortunately, I couldn't find the correct size that would fit these handles here. So I had to buy new handles. And we're going to put it on this. And I also had to move up one size from a 10 millimeter to an 11 millimeter to go on the end of this when we attach it to the base. So I'm going to measure this out and figure out what length I want to cut it. I'm going to go ahead and cut that with a saw. All right, I got it cut. You're going to be safe cutting this about 6 to 7 inches and you should be just fine. Go ahead and put your lock nut on the back side of here. Slide your washer down on the bolt. Then I'm going to stick it up through this side. When you tighten it down on the bottom side, you don't have to tighten it very far on. Just make sure that the threads stick out of the nut, probably 2 to 3 of them. It should be good. You can probably do this by hand like I am. If not, use a pair of pliers and a wrench. Probably about that far, if you can see that. That should be perfect. Now that you have it like that, you can take your other washer, slide it down the bolt, and get your other nut. Place it on here. We're going to tighten it all the way down. Make sure it's a lock nut. Okay, go ahead and get your lock nut, put it on the bolt. I got a pair of needle nose pliers down here holding the bolt in place. I'm going to tighten this down as far as I can. Now that we have it down all the way to the bottom, go ahead and take your ratchet and make sure you tighten it up. Give it a good snug crank to it right there. Get it nice and tight. And you should be good to reassemble everything. Everything looks good, nice and tight, it's not going anywhere. All right, now that you got your bolt secure in here, this next part is going to be a pain and you're probably going to have to get some assistance from somebody because when you loosen this motor up and take this top platform off, the motor drops and so the bolts will not reach from here to here. There are 4 inserts on the bottom here. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to insert into these springs. Make sure that these L brackets are in line with these little bolt holes here or you're going to be in a big mess. So everything is lined up straight across. Now we're going to place these inserts here into these springs so the platform sits on here correctly. And then the next step is going to be these 4 bolts here, but you're going to need assistance. Somebody is going to have to pick up the motor from the L brackets and press it up against this plate so that we can put these 4 bolts in, and they're a pain to get aligned. So bear with me and hopefully you guys have enough patience yourself to do this. Okay, now that we have them all 4 lined up, we're going to tighten them down real quick. All right, the next 4 bolts we're going to put in is these little ones with the hex heads. They fit down inside these grooves here and lock themselves in. They are going to go in those little L brackets. So slide them down in here and make sure they line up pretty close. You should be able to get them inside the L brackets. And remember, the 7 millimeter bolt, the 7 millimeter nut is going to go on the bottom side. Okay, we have them all in. Let's get the 7 millimeter nut on there, and then we're going to tighten all of them down. All right, now that we got those 4 put in, we're going to put these ones down in the spring. Now these ones are going to be a pain also because you have that nut that is inside the spring and it's not facing the direction it should be facing. You see this one is upside down. If you can see that in there, that nut is upside down. So I'm going to have to flip it this way and hold it up while I get this screw in. So let's see if I can show you how I do that. Go ahead and get that screw down all the way in there, and then you can get your needle nose pliers or whatever you need to do to try to get that nut turned the right way and facing this screw or bolt, sorry. So there we go, that's maneuvered in the right direction. Now it's facing in the right direction. The other pain in the butt part is to get that nut up to that bolt. Okay, sometimes you'll have to turn this up on its side or lay it down on its side, and if you have a little flathead screwdriver, or you can continue to work with the needle nose, you can push that nut on to the bolt to get it started. Take your Phillips and start twisting until it catches. Eventually it'll catch. It's a pain in the butt. Hopefully you guys can figure out a better way to do this than I am, but once it's started, grab it with the needle nose so you can tighten that dude down. Alright, you're going to do the same thing on all 4 of those, so I'm not going to show you that in this video. It's going to make it longer than it has to be, so I'm going to get all 4 of those done, and then we'll be ready to put the bowl back on. Alright, now that we have all 4 of those bolts on, we can go ahead and put the rubber plate back on, and we can get our bowl. Now I have a different bowl for this. I don't have the original bowl. It got ruined and I had to buy another bowl, so I bought a bowl. And now I can go ahead and put the bowl on. And the way this bowl is going to go is I'm going to get a rubber gasket, place it down on top of this bolt in here. A metal washer, place it down on top of this bolt right there. Then I have my makeshift lid that I made out of PVC because the lid got destroyed. Put the lid back on, closes down nicely. Then on top, another rubber washer, another metal washer, and my new handle should screw down. Get it nice and tight like that. Nice and tight, and we should be able to turn it on and make sure everything works. All right, let's go ahead and turn it on, and everything should work properly. And here in just a minute, I'm going to put some rocks in there so you guys can see how well it tumbles after replacing that bolt. Almost better than what it was when it was brand new because you got everything tightened down securely and you have a thicker bolt here. All right, everyone, just to show you how well it works, I took the lid off and I got this handle nice and secured down here. I have this filled with quartz crystal, and I like to use fish tank gravel as my filler. So I'm going to turn it on so you can see how well it tumbles. So that does a very nice job. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Hopefully this video will help you replace the bolt if your bolt is broken. That way you don't have to go out and get a whole new tumbler and waste your money. Keep using this thing until it falls apart completely because they aren't cheap. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. If you find a better way to do this, let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.